How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Corey, host of Conversations with Corey, and the person that runs the social media page on Facebook and Twitter known as Football of Kentucky. Today's guest is former NFL veteran and former Kentucky Wildcat, John Cooper, right?
Connor,
I don't know why I said man, I ain't gonna lie, bro. It's been a long day.
It's all good, man.
I worked
It's
11
all
hours without eating anything, and
Okay. Yeah,
just had
gotta do it sometimes.
yeah. It took me 21 hours to eat my first thing since yesterday. So
Okay.
pardon the name mix up. So I had a person tell me, I don't know if this nickname for you came about in high school or college, but your nickname used to be Turtle.
The Terminator.
Terminator.
The Turtle. That was the fullback that came in behind me, Moncel Allen. They call him the Turtle.
Okay. See, I was like, I think that's somebody else. So how'd you get the nickname the Terminator, man?
So it started when I was younger. The movie Terminator 2. John Connor was in that movie. Is a big part of that movie, and just my playing style. When I was younger, I was a pretty physical kid, loved to hit, and that name was kind of fitting with the movie and everything. And then it just kind of stuck with me. Then it really became even more popular once I got into the NFL with Rex Ryan. He really opened that back up, and people just loved that.
Speaking of Rex Ryan, I'm going to stay right there, talk a little bit of NFL, and then backtrack. To me, he's one of the more underrated football minds that there has been in my 38 years. And the reasons why I say that is we know who his father is, the coaching tree from his father, but people forget the coaching tree from Rex Ryan, the man himself. What was it like working for an unorthodox, no bullshit kind of guy like Rex?
Oh, it was awesome, man. Like I said, he was a big players coach. I don't think there's one player that if you interviewed any player that played for him, they would say one bad thing about him. Like he was the type of guy that he made the game fun. Even though the NFL is a business, is very very business oriented. He made the game fun. He's the type of guy that he might run out there with you one day and go make a tackle or something like that. But a lot of fun to play for. Like I definitely I could really appreciate that coming in as a rookie and going to a coach like that. That was awesome.
Definitely. Now, you were with the Jets, what, 2 years?
I was 2010.
Or is it just
about three and a half? About three and a half.
3.5. Okay.
Yeah.
So around that time, the Jets were still doing fairly well, and prior to that, it'd been 50 something years before they did anything.
It had been a while, and now hopefully I don't know. It's kind of gone down lately, but I think the time that I was there was the last time that we actually made the playoffs, if I'm not mistaken. I think we went to the AFC Championship my rookie year. So, and then the year before that, they went to the AFC Championship as well. So I feel like that was the last time that that the Jets had done anything big. So.
Yeah, I think you might be right on that. One more thing about the Jets before we get into other stuff. What's it like playing in a state like New York? Because New York fans are a different breed.
Oh yeah, it's a big media market, man. And coming in as a rookie, then we had Hard Knocks. We're getting all this media attention. Like I'm getting attention. Like I'm just a fullback. I'm a fifth round guy, and I'm just like one of the bigger names on the team. It was crazy. Just all that attention we got. If you had a great game, they'll let you know. If the team didn't look good, they'll let you know. So it was it was one of those things that you kind of had to just keep your head up, keep a narrow vision. Don't buy into the hype. Don't buy into the put downs. You just had to just do your best every game.
Right. One more thing about the NFL. What's your thoughts on the way the game is played today? Because since the last time you played, it's been 7, 8 years, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
It doesn't seem that long, does it?
It does, and I feel like it's wow.
Yeah. So in that time frame from the last time you played in the past 7, 8 years, like I was just saying, to now, the game has changed. Some for the good, and some not for the good. What's your
Mhm.
thoughts on the way the game's progressed and the way the game's degressed since you last played?
I feel like they're trying to take care of players a little bit better now. I think a lot of the rules when I was playing, it was very, loose. You could go lay somebody out, helmet to helmet, that
No, you
type of
could.
stuff. And like
Yeah.
you gotta understand, this is what you signed up for. Football is meant to be a physical game. I do enjoy that part of it, but at the same time, your health is very important as well. And I can a part of me can appreciate what they're trying to do now as
Uh-huh.
far as taking care of players, but then there's like for defensive guys, like how do they have to slow down before they make a tackle? Like that's messing their game up. It's hard to play fast when you're thinking about how you're going to tackle a guy, how you're going to hit a guy. So I think it has its positives and negatives. But I think I would bend more to the safe side, and I think it's better to take care of guys because you seeing all the CTE stuff coming out,
Yep.
and that's something I didn't know about until like later on in my career, until or when I was done, especially with that movie Concussion came out. I had never heard of it, and but yeah, the CTE that stuff's very serious, man, and just the damage it does. Maybe not initially, but later on in life
Oh
with
yeah, for
head-to-head
sure.
contact.
Sure.
Yeah, so
It ain't nothing to play with. That's for certain.
no, it's not. No, not at all. So I'm glad they're taking the extra measures to really take care of guys and take that step. But at the end of the day, it's still a physical game. Is what you signed up for. So we all know that going into it.
Yeah. Well, my thing, John, is this, man. Like, it's a give and take thing, man. Just like anything in life. You know what I'm saying? And for giving three good things, sometimes they take two things.
Yeah,
Case in
yeah,
point, like the defense. Like a lot of guys that could be dominant players on the defensive side of the ball
yeah.
don't tend to not play as long as they could just
Yeah.
because they can't really do quintessentially their job.
Exactly, exactly. Yes, it's hard, man. Like
No, yeah.
you want to play fast, and like then like you turn the film on, the coach is gonna yell at you. Oh, why you slowing up here? Why you tiptoeing? Well, I don't want to get a penalty. I don't want to, And sometimes when you're playing fast, those things happen.
Oh, they
And
definitely do.
there are some hits that all right, you could have made a better attempt at a tackle, or you could have kept your head up, or things like that. So.
So how did you go about getting recruited to go play at the University of Kentucky?
So my recruiting process was a little bit different. I was a preferred walk-on. I got a lot of letters from schools around the country, a lot of interest. But at the end of the day, I just didn't get that offer. Kentucky had showed interest in me, um, but I think they were kind of coming out of like a probation type thing, and they got to a point where they were kind of full as far as their scholarships given, but they reached out to me and offered me a preferred walk-on deal, and that's kind of where I would come in with the normal scholarship players, um, get a chance to compete. And I mean, they like my film. They said, hey, I mean, even though you're a walk-on, you'll have a chance to start maybe in the next couple of years. You come in here, you compete and show what you can do. So Lexington, I have family in Lexington. It's I'm a Cincinnati guy, so it's not too far away from home,
Right.
but also far enough to get away.
Yep.
So I felt like it was a good spot for me. I like the coaching staff. I like the facilities. So yeah, it was good. They showed interest in me. They showed confidence in me. So
At what point in time did you actually receive your scholarship?
it was my second year, I believe. It was my second year. It's hard to have a guy on the team that's starting and not give him a scholarship. So I had been starting for a year, and uh,
Yeah.
I had split time with a few other guys, but by the end of that, I think was it my I think yeah, it was my second year, my sophomore year, redshirt sophomore year. Uh, yeah, they offered me that scholarship, so that was nice.
How'd that make you feel?
It felt great. I mean, when you got guys on the team coming up to you like, "How are you not on scholarship? We thought you were on scholarship." Like, no, I'm not on scholarship. But it felt great. It felt really good. I just something that I worked hard for, and you know, yeah, it was a great feeling.
Something like that though, sometimes it doesn't happen for people that we may think deserve it. So being one of those lucky individuals to get it, like it had to be kind of overwhelming though.
Yeah, a little bit.
I mean, you kind of knew it was coming, but
Yeah,
still, though, even though you know something's coming, when it finally happens, especially something that monumental.
yeah, it was tough. Especially coming in like my freshman year, I wanted to earn a scholarship right away. I came in, I was busting my butt. Even then, guys saying, "How are you not on scholarship? Like you're one of the top freshmen in your class, but you're not on scholarship." I'm playing a lot of special teams, and at some point during that year, I might have ended up, playing more, even possibly starting. I get hurt. We're playing Indiana at Indiana. I think it was like the third or fourth game of the season. Get hurt on special teams. Roll my ankle up, out for the season. What did I? Torn ligament in my ankle. So that kind of put the scholarship on the back burner for a little bit. I remember those were tough times, rehabbing and just not knowing like if I'm ever going to get another shot or if they're going to eventually offer me ever. Came back that next year, wasn't quite 100%. Starting, splitting time a little bit.
Yeah.
Uh, didn't get the scholarship for some reason, and I had conversations with with the coaching staff, and it was like, yo, like what's going on? Like I'm busting my butt. I'm playing. I'm getting a lot of playing time, and it was tough. But that next year, I came in camp, did my thing, and I was the true starter, and I finally got that scholarship. So.
So when you did receive that scholarship, who was the first person you called to tell
Oh,
them?
the parents, of course, because they're paying my way. So I think they might have been more happy than I was. So,
Right.
uh, but yeah, it was nice, man. I didn't have to pay for the books anymore. I didn't have to the meal plan. That was all. So it was nice.
Heck yeah. What was your time like playing at Kentucky?
It was good, man. We had some great memories. We had a like group of guys that came in. We didn't have a lot of 5-star guys coming in. We had a lot of 2 and 3-star guys, and I don't think I had a star. And But as you see, like we had a lot of guys get drafted, and we turned that pro. I like to say we helped turn that program around. The Rich Brooks era. Early on it wasn't great, but every year we just kept taking steps uh, in the right direction. And it's a team that went to back-to-back bowl games, had some huge wins. I mean, in my
Yep.
opinion, I thought we could have done a lot better than we did, but that was that. But it was, I think we created some great memories at UK.
Definitely. Yeah. You're right though. A lot of those guys that you guys, gentlemen, played with, such as yourself, y'all didn't really have shit. I mean, as far as star ratings go, I'm not saying y'all
Yeah,
didn't have talent. It's
right.
obvious, but like that's got to make you feel good, and the guys that you were with feel good, knowing you all still thugged it out the way y'all did, but banged around with everybody, and
Yeah,
were one of the
yeah.
teams that first started slowly helping turning around. Now looking at it from where it was to where it's at, what's your thoughts as an alumnus and a former player, seeing the growth for the specifically for the football department at the University of Kentucky? Because let's see, I've been a fan of UK since 1997, and ever
Wow.
since 97 I've been a fan, and up until right around, I want to say, Stoops' second or third year,
Yeah,
you could slowly start having conversations as a Kentucky fan fluently in the subject of football. Prior to that, during the times when you were there, and then before that, maybe a few years. Other than that, we
yeah,
going back 36 or 46 with Barry Bryant.
yeah.
So to be able, I'm just being honest though.
No,
So
I get it.
it's got to feel good for you, because I know it does for me as a fan, but it's got to feel good for you, a former player, to see the growth of the team and where it's at today.
Oh, for sure, man. Like it would to be pretty hard. Like when I'm out there trying to defend my school and like people talking down about UK football. Oh, UK football is not any good, and like it was kind of frustrating because I think my era when I was there, we were kind of our UK football was kind of taking off a little bit. Like we were getting a lot more respect, going to bowl games, beating good quality teams.
Yep.
We left and Rich Brooks retired, and it kind of went back to where it was for a little bit, and the stadium attendance kind of went down, and Here comes Stoops. Stoops comes in, and his first year or two wasn't great. He had to rebuild, and now like I mean I'm proud as heck of these guys, man. They're doing a great job, and now like I think Stoops has been so consistent that UK is considered like a force in the SEC now. They're not just that's a stat game or that's UK. Like now you're coming, you playing UK, like they're coming to play. So I'm proud to see that, man, and I'm proud to see what they're doing with the program, and it's good to see it back to kind of where we left off.
No, definitely, definitely. Now, with the position you played in college, that position really isn't used as much now in today's game as it once was when you played. But as a former fullback and stuff, how important to offenses is that position in your opinion?
I'm sorry, say that again. I missed that last.
I said, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. What I was saying was the position that you played, fullback and stuff, isn't used as much now in today's game quite as often as it was back when you were playing.
Right.
How important is that position in the sport?
I mean, obviously I'm biased, but I think it's very important. I think you have to have a good fullback, a solid fullback, a guy that's going to go in there and open up some holes and, can pass, block, catch out the backfield, get the short yardage. If you have a guy like that, I think it's very important in the run game. Like they've kind of transitioned to using like these H-back and tight end guys. And, I've seen a few good ones, but I think it's harder for, a taller guy or, some of these guys, they're not used to lead blocking or, playing in that position or carrying the football as much. It's a little bit more difficult for them to, get up under somebody's pads and clear out a hole. As like a fullback, like, I'm not like the super tall guy. So like, I'm not going out running these deep routes a ton, but I think there's a place for the traditional fullback in the game for sure.
Definitely, definitely. To get back to the NFL, when you got drafted, where were you at, and what type of emotions overcame you? Because I know it was an emotional moment in your life.
Yeah. Oh man, I cried. I ain't gonna lie. I remember I was in Louisville actually. I forget the name of the sports bar. My agent at the time, he rented out a whole section for us. It was me, Alfonso Smith was there, a couple other guys that was in his agency, and I remember I had a BlackBerry phone. I had it sitting on my lap.
I ain't gonna lie. Hey, speaking of Blackberries were nice.
They were nice. They were nice, man. I miss like actually pushing the buttons because like these daggone like you start to sweat sometimes or like you get it wet. Like you can't the buttons don't really work on the touchscreen. So it was something about those Blackberries, man. They were very reliable phones, man. I tell you. But anyway, I had the BlackBerry sitting on my lap, and I just remember that feeling that vibrate on my leg and picking up the phone. It was the New York Jets, man. I remember to this day, it felt like Christmas. It was just amazing. It was just the amount of work that you put in for so many years, just remembering like being a walk-on and just like the struggle going through that and not getting that scholarship and all of a sudden, getting a call to play in the NFL like you dream about as a kid. And I mean, it's nothing compared to that feeling.
Definitely not at all. Not at all. Definitely nothing compares to that. So, before we got officially started, like I mentioned the unfortunates of John Moran again. Mm-hmm. So I want to talk briefly on that. I know it's not football, but it's going to coincide with what I'm going to ask you. I think the issues that people have with it, the issue is not him having a gun. That ain't the issue. Everybody has the right to bear arms. It's your right as an American, no matter what walk of life you are, where you're from. It does not matter. That is your God-given right. Yeah. Nobody's disputing that. This is just from my visuals looking out. The issue is, one, the company he keeps. Yeah. Look who's around him. Exactly. If I'm not mistaken, former Louisville Cardinal Harry Douglas, I was listening to him on the way home before we got started. He had mentioned that it was either him or Fitzy. One of the guys in his entourage that was in that video is one of the guys or one of his close compadres that got banned from arenas in the NBA.
Yeah.
So with him making this unfortunate mistake again, I mean, they're going to put the hammer down.
Yeah.
Whether it's in a, NBA trip, whatever,
Yeah.
they're going to put the hammer down because in reality, you only missed 2 out of the 8 games you were suspended anyways. You got a slap on the wrist.
Yeah. You got lucky.
So that coincides with what I was going to ask you, the company that you keep. How fortunate were you with the people that you kept around you, and how important is it to watch the people you keep around you to prolong your career as a professional athlete?
Oh man, like that's something like, my parents always instilled in me growing up. You got to watch people, man. You got to watch who you're around. Like even like your closest friends aren't really your closest friends sometimes.
Absolutely.
Like, because if that was his boy, if that was his friend, he wouldn't have put him in that position.
Thank
Putting
you.
him, he knew he'd already been through that
Yeah.
once, and then all of a sudden, like he does it again. Like, bro, like these aren't your friends, man. Like, and I get like this day one stuff, blah blah blah. But you got to understand when you start to become successful in life, sometimes you can't bring a lot of people with you. Like that's just how it is, man. Like, you got to leave some people behind
Oh,
because they're stuck in that same lifestyle. They're not wanting to upgrade themselves. You can't upgrade everybody. You can't always go back. Some of these guys, you
yes.
can't go back to the hood because I mean, you see rappers, they go back to their own hood, they're getting killed. Like there's people that are jealous, people that want to be on your level, but you know what I'm saying? You just can't continue to hang out with these people that are just trying to bring you down. And like you might have to change your friends, change your circle sometimes.
He could potentially, part of my French, he could potentially fucking fumble a quarter
Yeah.
$250
Oh, that's a whole nother
fucking
story, man.
bag.
You're making so much money. Why are you hanging with these these
It don't
guys?
even matter. Like,
Like, man, like, give me that much money. I'm like,
yeah,
you won't see me
I'll take,
anywhere. You see
I
me in
just
the
want
gym and at home.
10%.
That's it.
Let me get 10% of that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
5%.
Man,
I'll take
gosh.
13 million. Give me 13 million. You'll never hear from me again.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I don't get it, man. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm different, bro, but I don't understand like how you can just put yourself in that situation. Like it's, you gotta evaluate your circle, man. Evaluate the people that you're hanging with, your relationships. You gotta evaluate everybody. I'm constantly doing that. You gotta check
So
people, man.
I want to stay on that part. That was one of the main reasons why I brought up the Ja Morant situation. How often did you have to do that yourself from high school to college? Because I know you did a little bit there when we all did, but then going from college to the pros, how many people did you have to transition yourself away from, even though you didn't want to,
Right.
quintessentially per se? But like you hinted, at some point in time, you just got to say fuck it, and you just got to do it. You can't take everybody with you. How
Yeah, you
often did
can't.
you have to? How often did you have to do that? And was it pretty hard for you
Um,
to do
I,
that?
I had to do it a handful of times. I've always been a pretty good judge of character and
Yeah.
knowing people's true intentions. I mean, I've messed up a few times, like with the wrong people, like being in my circle. But yeah, like when you get drafted, you all of a sudden, hey, remember me? Like, you get those phone calls and texts, and but you. I feel like it's easy to tell who's true and who's in it for certain reasons. So yeah, it was a handful of people that I kind of had to. All right, I know I know why you're contacting me and why you're trying to hang out with me. I get it. So,
Definitely. What was childhood like for you growing up, man?
oh, childhood was good, man. I was a three-sport athlete. I played football, basketball, and baseball. Stayed busy with sports. Uh, I always had friends around because I was playing those sports. Like I didn't. I was the only child, pretty much. I have a sister, but she's a lot older than me. Didn't live in the same household growing up, so um, yeah, man, I was the only child, but I was super quiet, man. But had a lot of friends. I never was lonely. Um, like my teammates were my brothers, man. Like baseball, after baseball games, we have sleepovers. We go to Kings Island, all that type of stuff. Same thing with basketball and football, man. Like uh, yeah, those are my friends, and had a great upbringing. Both my parents were in my life. which was I'm very thankful for. I had good parents, put a good head on my shoulder. Um, but yeah, man, it was a good childhood. I had a great family support growing up. Uh, but yeah, it's good, man.
What's one of the hardest things you've ever had to overcome in life?
The hardest thing I have overcome. There's probably a few things I could say. Probably, hmm, the whole like not getting a scholarship thing. That was tough for me. That was very tough for me, man. I remember, just signing day came, and I'm looking at all these guys I played with or played against. They're signing their letters of intent, and I'm sitting here without a scholarship. Like, what am I gonna do? Like, I'm one of the leading rushers coming out of Cincinnati,
Yeah,
coming out of my senior year, and for some reason I didn't have a scholarship, man. I visited a lot of schools. I thought I was going to West Virginia for a little bit. I went to their camp, and they were like, "Yeah, we're gonna offer you like we're not." I was gonna go there and play linebacker. Then the last second they took that away. Um, but yeah, man, I visited schools like Illinois, Indiana, Tennessee, uh, you name it, man. I visited a ton of schools, Miami, Ohio, Kent State, Akron, like all Max school. Like, I visited so many schools, man, and like at the didn't get that offer. And I remember just being in my room and just I got very emotional, man. It was because that was my dream, was to play big time college football, get a scholarship, and hopefully make it to the NFL one day. So,
definitely, definitely.
mhm.
When did you know your playing days in NFL were over?
uh, I was kind of I was with Buffalo. They brought me in. Rex Ryan was there. They had already signed a fullback to this big contract, but Rex Ryan saw that I was available. He brought me in. Had a great camp. Tore my hamstring up a little bit towards the end of camp. But they ended up releasing me. They wanted to go with one fullback. In my opinion, I probably I should have been on the team, but when you're dealing with contracts and that type of stuff, it's kind of hard, having carrying two fullbacks on the team. So
Yeah.
now I appreciate the opportunity. I got that from him, and just being a free agent after that. Talking with my agent, nobody was really in need of a fullback, and here I am missing another season, and I was like, all right, well, I think it's time to start my next career, and that's when I started getting more into the training and what I do now, like the speed and agility training and the personal training, and still training just in case the team called me. But it was a process, man, because your identity is set into
Oh,
being the football player. I was always John Connor, the football player, and becoming a regular person again, and like a regular lifestyle, man, it was tough. It took a long time. Like, I'm just now getting to the point where I'm okay without that football life. I missed the game, but it took a while, man. Like, it was some emotional nights, and just it was hard for me to watch football. It was hard for me to watch, Monday Night Football. It was hard for me to watch that. I'll maybe watch a half, and I was like, I can't watch this no more, because like, I knew I should be out there. And that was tough for me. Just that's another tough thing that I went through, is just uh, being released, and just like and it's out of my control. Like, it might have been an
yeah.
injury, or it might have been, I don't know if you saw what happened with Cincinnati. That really just like tore me apart, man. And when you're
What part?
supposed to be out there. I'm sorry.
What specifically with Cincinnati? Refresh my memory.
Well, Cincinnati, that was another Hard Knock series. I'm sure a lot of people saw it, but a situation where I'm the starter at the end of the season or end of the training camp,
Okay.
but I still get released. um, but yeah, that's a whole nother story. We won't get into that, but just when you should be out there playing, and
Yeah.
and you're good enough, you're healthy, and uh, yeah, it's tough, man. But that's how life is. Life, you go through things that you don't understand why things happen, but uh,
Facts.
you find a way to get through it. And
Yep.
for some reason, it didn't work out, but I think it worked out for the best, man. So
Definitely, definitely. Hey, you still got your health though. A lot of times when guys
absolutely,
transition away from the game, some of them are less fortunate. You're one of the fortunate ones. You get what I'm saying? To where you still have
absolutely.
your health. kind
I
of
am thankful for that. I am thankful for my health, man. That's the main thing. And I know there's more to life than football. I've learned that there's more to life than football. Football is just so temporary, and I've made a nice life for myself with what football has given me, and I'm thankful for it. And I learned a lot about life through football, and yeah, I'm happy now, man. I'm happy, and like I'm living life, and yeah, I'm good.
heck yeah. So I want to cover 2 to 3 more things before we end this great conversation.
Okay.
How often do you visit the university now that you've retired from the NFL? You're graduated from UK. Do you go back often for games and stuff?
Yeah, I do when I can. I made it to a few games last year and the year before. So yeah, I try to get out there when I can, man, and get out there and tailgate. It's fun being on the other side of things and being like a fan now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a lot of fun. I need
How
to get
does
to more
John,
basketball games though.
man, speaking of that, man, we could talk about that specifically for a whole nother hour. But since you brought that up, we'll talk about it quickly. One thing, I've always been a fan of Calipari. I've through and through, I've defended him through hellfire and brimstone, quintessentially. But I have to be honest. If he don't make it far this year, uh,
Oh, that class they got coming in, bro. Like, yeah, if like I feel like I could coach these guys to a championship, man.
that's what I'm
Like, come
saying.
on. Like,
And
like the
I'm not
talent,
talking.
like, yeah. Go ahead.
I'm not talking about John winning a championship. I'm just being specific when I say if he doesn't make it far in the tournament, you seriously have to think as a Kentucky fan, okay, what is Kentucky going to do? Because
Yeah.
now, patience, patience, that's what's been preached the last 3 to 4 years. If they don't do nothing with this team, you have to really consider what is Kentucky doing with him at that position. I'm not saying John isn't a coach. It's obvious.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying when I say that?
Absolutely, man. It's like, I feel like we've been patient for a while now. And I get it. You're at UK and we won championships here. Like I get it, but we've been patient with Coach Cal, man, and like we're ready, man. It's like these years with all this talent, we're losing in the first and second round. Like that's not acceptable anymore. And like, I feel for both sides, man. I feel for him as a coach. I get it, man. And I know he's doing his best and he cares about the kids, but now like we have all this talent. You got to put it together now. It's time. Like it's time, man. Like it's just the heartbreak after heartbreak every year. So
It definitely is. How does John, the person, want to be remembered when his time on earth is over and done with?
uh just the kind of person he was, like how he cared for people, not just like I said as an athlete, but his character, like how did he carry himself? Um, did he make other lives better? Like that's I've had a lot of time to think during my time out of football, and I'm starting to realize, man, life is just not about your accolades and like how many touchdowns you get, how many trophies you got. Cause that stuff, man, like that stuff like is here and is gone. But like what people really gonna remember is like how you made them feel and how you treated people. And like I'm more thankful for that than any kind of football career, man. Like I'm thankful for what I did on the football field,
Yeah.
but I like just like people would come up to me all the time like you signed this for my son and like he loved you, man. Like you made this kid want to play football just by talking to him. And I like hearing those type of stories, and that's like what I want to be remembered for, is that like that kind of stuff.
Definitely, definitely. John, I hope you enjoyed yourself, man. It's been a pleasure conversating with you, and I look forward to chatting with you again soon, man. We'll be staying in touch.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you for having me.
Take care, man.
All right, my guy. Thank you.